Okay, I'm going to walk you through my SAMR model today. SAMR stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. I'm going to be doing it on time and temperature, my unit for my mathematics curriculum. I teach second grade at New Heights Elementary. So time and temperature, the few things that they need to know for this lesson is they need to know time before and after the hours, time down to 5-minute increments around the clock, how much time has elapsed during a day, for everyday tasks. And then students also need to know the calendar, degrees, and Fahrenheit and Celsius. Students should be able to also two-part problem solve by the end of this lesson. There's 6 lessons in this unit that I'll be covering, and I'll show you the different ways in which I'll be using the SAMR and which one will work best for me for that day lesson. This is their day one. This is before the SAMR model. They used to get these worksheets just telling time to the 5 minutes. They would get the very front page here where we would work on this together. They would get their inside page where they would work on that alone. And then they would get their back page, which would usually consist of a story problem to end with. I'm going to show you a way in which they can substitute this lesson. To substitute this lesson, students can log on to their Envision portal. They can go to the lesson that they want to be at, so they can go to 15. We're on 15.1, telling time. They can complete the lesson online if they want to. We don't have computers every day, so this isn't very efficient for us. So a lot of times students will just have to print off the page and do it from that way. So that would be a substitution. They're going online, printing it off, and bringing it back to the classroom to work on. They also could work on it online. They're doing the exact same thing that they were doing. It's just as an online version. A way that I can augment this lesson is all the time at the end of our lesson we do these quick checks. This is the 15.1 quick check. It goes all the way up to 15.6 because there's 6 lessons for this unit. I can actually take a screenshot of this number 1 problem here. I can enter it into my Plickers account. The students then use these cards here to answer the questions, either A, B, C, or D. And as you can notice, there's A on the top there, B, C, and D down at the bottom. So it allows them to answer. It gives me instant feedback on the kids, where they're struggling and what might need to be retaught. It also tells me which students I should be working on in certain areas. So good piece of augmentation. A way that I can have this student be modified is by having them go on to Khan Academy. It's a different site where the guy actually teaches them the lesson, and then it will actually take feedback from them. It'll take their answers at the answer, and it'll give me results that I can look at and tell where students are at as well. So it's a way to switch the lesson up a little bit and modify it for the students. Here's a little piece of what he does.
So where is the hour hand? Or asked, what time is it? So we first want to look at the
Okay, I think you guys sort of get the idea. They can then go to telling time. They can try to answer what time it is on the clock. So if I was to answer this question here, it would be 6. And I would have to count along the clock: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So it is 6:55 at this time. I can check my answer. Oh, it is not 6:55. A lot of students get that wrong, just like I did there. It is 5:55 because it is not quite at the 6 yet. You can check the answer out when you're done. So, cool way that I can see the feedback from the students. Way that I can have students redefine this lesson is by going onto their Seesaw accounts, hitting the add button, going ahead and adding a drawing to a piece, and then they can draw in their clock if they wanted to. And mine isn't quite as good as what theirs would be. They can use their fingers on the iPad. I'm trying to use on my computer. So one thing that I would be sure to have is I would be sure to have an iPad for the kids as they're going around. Let's say they were doing the hour hand. They could do the hour hand just like that, and then the minute hand, and then they could ask in the text box, they could ask, what time is it? So they could add a caption and ask, what time is it? And that would be a way to get an interactive piece for the students to try to tell what time it is. So they could do it that way, or they could just tell a word problem, ask a word problem, and then post it. So a couple things they could do. Okay, day 2 of the time and temperature SAMR unit. This one is telling time before and after the hour. These were the standard worksheets that they would be working on before using the SAMR model. In this one here, students can substitute this lesson by printing off their quick check if they wanted to. They could print their quick check and this piece right here online. And I've already shown you guys how to do that, so I'm not going to go back through it again. For the augmentation piece, I can go have students go onto their online accounts and they can work on it online, and then they can do the Plickers cards just like usual. For the modification piece, students can modify this by having students publish their work and make new problems on Seesaw. So back to Seesaw, if I was to go back to Seesaw, and students could take a picture of their work. It'll just show a picture of me right now. But they could take a picture of the work. They could ask a question like a recording. So if I took a picture here, here's my picture. And let's say I was fine with that picture. And let's imagine it's their work on here instead. And they could ask a question about their work. So a little different piece of being able to modify their work. This lesson also could be redefined by going to a Judy clock, something new that they're not used to doing. I would have to teach this beforehand of how to use the clock, so it would take some added time. I would like to have them turn the words off and everything too. So yeah, so it adds another piece. They could do a screencast of this, make a video, and then post it to our Seesaw account through YouTube just by getting the link. So a piece that they could augment, I probably wouldn't do it because it would take a little bit too much time. But as you can see, the clock can go around. It will show the hour hand as well. It's just loading really slow for me right now. Day 3, students are to estimate time about something that takes 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 whole day. So this is a really cool lesson actually, where students can tell about how long each thing takes. So a way to substitute this lesson, I can have them log on to their online accounts just like I did earlier. I can also have them print it off online. I can have them do the quick check online, or I can have them print it off on paper. So the students get to go onto their accounts and do this. Like I said before, we don't have computers every day, so this is probably something to where they would probably have to be able to print off, or I would have to log out for the computer lab for the day. This lesson also could be augmented by doing their quick checks through a Plickers card. I could also augment the work on Seesaw by doing video recordings. So it just adds a piece, so they just take their worksheet that they finished for the day, take a quick video of it, and then explain how they did their problems to their parents. Allows it to get out there. This lesson could be modified by having students complete their work online through their online accounts. They could go on to Seesaw and they could make charts, so that they could make a chart and then post it online with what could take seconds, what could take minutes, hours, and days. And they're each going to have different things, so something pretty cool. One thing that I'd really like to do with the students is redefinition. Students could go on to like a Google slide presentation. They already have their Google account set up. I set that up at the beginning of the year. I would just have to teach them how to use the Google slide, but they could put in each corner which stuff would take seconds and which stuff would take minutes, hours, days to complete. This would be a lesson that could be completed one day in class. They could just post pictures of what kind of stuff that they would be doing that would take seconds, and then they could come up to the front of the classroom when they're done and present it to the class. I would probably group them together in teams and then I would have them present as a group. Day 4, using the calendar, 15-4. Students get like a regular calendar like this, but it usually is not the calendar for the year that we're doing. It's previous years, so this would be a good one to substitute and sort of get rid of, so they can substitute by going online, working on their WorkMet. They could probably print it off. They could even print it off the day beforehand if we had computers, so that way we're allowing other students to use the computers in our building. This lesson could be augmented by having students log on to computers, look at the calendars that are there. They could even go on to their like Google Calendar or whatever. They could research the different type of holidays that are celebrated, and students could come back to the class and show what they have found. So a way to augment the lesson. The way to modify this lesson can be modified by, I can have them group students together. I can give them different calendars to research online. So like say like a Chinese calendar, an Iranian calendar, a whole bunch of different types of calendars around the world, and students could explore what different holidays that they find, and then they could actually put what they found into a Google slide, so students could share their presentation with their peers by clicking on the share button, and they could have it so their classmates could view it. So I could have it to where they view it the next day, and then we could discuss it. This lesson could also be redefined by having students go into their Google accounts. They could create a schedule. So they could go into their Google accounts just like I am now. Click on their calendar portion, and they could create a schedule for the month. So, and they could list maybe what sort of things take hours and which sort of things are going to take all day. So they could go to the month portion, sort of schedule certain things throughout the week that they're going to be doing, and print it off and show it to the class of what their schedule looks like. So pretty cool way to redefine this lesson. This lesson is day 5, the temperature in Fahrenheit and Celsius. One thing that I really like to do with the students is go outside and allow them to use their own temperature gauges. It would be cool to go online and document the degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius throughout the week, and that's definitely a way that students could modify the lesson. So one thing that is different that I could augment the lesson with is having students take a formative assessment of degrees Celsius and Fahrenheit, so that they know the differences of what the freezing points are and stuff. Day 6, multiple step problems. This is the very last lesson of our thing here. For substituting this lesson, students can do their quick checks through clickers, just like I said before. Log on to their online accounts. There's not much out there to where I can substitute the lesson. That's basically how I can keep it the same. This lesson can be augmented by having students complete a Google form on the lesson. When they are finished with the assessment, it'll be sent to the teacher, and then it can show me what can be retaught. The modification section of this lesson is probably what I would use for this problem here. Is I could have students complete word problems online in 2-part problems and have students solve them. It would get sent to the parents, so the parents could see what they were doing in the classroom for the day. So I would like to do the modification portion for this. Also, the redefinition would be a good one. I could do QR codes, have students work on their problem, come up and scan the QR code and see if they got the right answer for the problem, or they could create their own QR codes for maybe the answers that they got. So it would take a little bit of time to teach this though. The final thing is the time and temperature test. The only thing that I could do for this is substitute. I could have the students go online and complete their test on the Pearson online site. So this would allow me for no grading necessary. It would grade it for me, although I don't know if I would trust it to an extent, because there is a piece where I would need to be able to see their work that they've done, and sometimes it's good to see that. So hope you guys enjoy my SAMR model. Yeah, thank you.